So thinking through those things and staying with the theme that we've talked about, getting to know yourself, and so how you can best set up your strengths and best set up your tools and strategies, and how you can best overcome what you might see as your weaknesses or challenges. So are you naturally someone that springs to action and is always going to run to danger? You should know that, because you may have the tendency to do that and do it at a time that you're not really prepared to deal with those consequences, okay?
The Filster Enigma is a revolutionary holster chassis system that completely divorces your holster and gun from your clothing, giving you unprecedented concealment whether in sweatpants or formal wear. It attaches to your AIWB holster via the wing and allows incredible flexibility for your concealed carry. Get yours at the link below.
So if you're someone that's going to see something like this at a cafe and have to step in, lots of people won't. You think we all will, lots of people won't. But if you're someone that's going to, maybe decide that you either need to modify that and or have the skills to back it up so that you don't make it worse or hurt yourself or whatever it is. If you're going to do it, figure out how to do it. If that's you, embrace it. If you're someone that freezes, okay, maybe what can we do about that? Can we maybe mentally rehearse some things, get some parking spots in our brains to figure out files that we can access in these deals? Are you someone that seems to be often targeted? There are studies that show that the same people tend to be victimized over and over and over again, generally because particularly after you've been a victim, you may project that lack of confidence and fear and trauma out into the world, which is easily spotted by predators. And then you may be victimized again. So if you're someone that's seeing these things happening as a pattern in your life, first if you see another person that's telling you that and your first thought is, drama, 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 they're constantly having drama. Maybe they are though. You know, maybe people are reading that and picking up on it. But if that's you, consider what about myself might be projecting that and how can I change it? Can I practice walking more upright and more boldly? Can I be more confident in my interactions? What can I do? So figure that out if that's you. Are you someone that always has to have the last word? Might be good to know about yourself before you get in a road rage situation and think, I'm going to de-escalate it until that switch is flipped and you can't. So get to know it about yourself and figure out how you can mitigate it. Think about the social programming we talked about. Are you someone that's going to deny that anything is going on because you don't want to interact with it and put yourself at risk while someone is coming at you from that direction, okay? Once you're aware of these things, you can figure out how to deal with them, okay? Understand tools of manipulation and things that people will use, things like niceness. Niceness is a strategy, according to an author called Gavin de Becker in the book, The Gift of Fear. Niceness is a strategy. I might be being nice to you just because I want to get to know you. You know, maybe we want to be friends. Maybe I want to have lunch with you. Maybe I want to develop relationships, so I'm being nice to you. Or I might be being nice to you because I want you to feel like you're obligated to something later when I ask for it. Or maybe it's a tool of manipulation that I'm using for your harm. Being aware of how people manipulate others can be really helpful. It's really easy to spot once you know what those things are sometime. So what can we do about it? One thing that we harp on at Active Self-Protection all the time is paying attention. Because attention buys you time, and time buys you options. If I recognize that someone is targeting me from the back of this room, I have a lot more options than if I recognize it's happening from behind me or from the front row, right? I just have a lot more I can do about it. In fact, I might be able to, you know, if we weren't in a room and there was a back door, yeah, there is a back door. I might be able to just get out. You know, if they're coming from there, I'm gonna have a lot less options if they're coming from right here. So the more time you can give yourself, particularly as someone who is in a more vulnerable population, you can mitigate a lot of risk and stack things in your favor. Emotional fitness is primary, attitude. The ASP and Active Self-Protection is all keyed off attitude, skills, and plan. And there's a reason attitude is first. It's because it prevails. It doesn't prevail all the time, but it does help an awful lot. It helps all the time. And it wins an awful lot of the time, even when it shouldn't. We've got a lot of really fun videos where you're just going, what is happening? Why is this person doing this? Just because they've decided they're not having it, and they're going to fight off someone with a gun with a broom for some reason, and win. So there's no reason that should happen, and yet their attitude saves the day. Tools and skills really even the playing field, okay? And we'll talk about that on the next thing, but what can you do to make everything a little more equitable? If you don't have the same upper body strength as someone else, what might you be able to do, okay? How can you interact with your world? How can you develop more emotional health to get yourself better outcomes in all of your endeavors? This video, if you were in John's last presentation, you saw this one already, and you're gonna be excited to see it again, because it's a good one. This is a mom from South Carolina. She's home alone with her 3 small children. Okay, and this man we only see enough of the video to make it look like he's kind of just knocking on her door. Okay, and eventually he kicks at the door. That said, there's more context to it. He has been in the backyard, he's been looking in the windows, he's aware that her and the children are home, and he's aware she has a gun. And yet he persists in trying to get into the house. That's a special kind of person you don't want anywhere around your babies. And that is what she has decided. So I'm going to go ahead and play it. When they released it, they cut out some of this, so it's going to jump right as he kicks the door. And what is going to happen in that interim is he is going to be shot. Here's the pause while they edit it. Always makes me wonder if I've paused it myself because it's so long. There we go. Okay, so first of all, because of the context, I don't have any problem with the fact that she shot him as soon as he touched her door. Can you shoot anybody that puts a foot on your door? No. But someone that knows you're home with a gun with your children is continuing to try to get in your house. She's got plenty of objective, reasonable evidence that she's in serious danger. So are her children. Okay, so I share that because of the quote here that she shares in this next one. It says, something just came over me and I got calm. My heart slowed down and I got focused. I told myself, if he comes in here, you can't let him get past your doorstep. You have 3 young children to protect. And she did, and she did. And I just think that is such a beautiful picture of her. And maybe it's just that she decided her children were worthy of being protected. It had nothing to do with her. That said, she prevailed that day. She had the tools to do it. She had the tools to overcome multiple people on her doorstep with a bunch of defenseless, vulnerable ones behind her. And she was all that stood in between them. And being able and ready and willing to die for your children that day doesn't stop him on the doorstep. What stops him is shooting him. That's what stopped him. Okay, so we talked about attitude, emotional fitness, all of that. What about tools and plans? Tools can radically even the score. They can improve your outcomes, especially for women, but for men too. When I stand on the line at gun school and I am shooting with all of my almost all male peers, I'm equal. I can perform just as well as they can. And that's huge. That says right there, if we get in a gunfight, I have just as good a chance as, in fact, I have a lot better chance, honestly, than the guy. If someone wants to get in a gunfight with me, all the odds are stacked in my favor, okay? And that's just because a gun is a great equalizer. That's what it is. That's why we're here this weekend. That's what we know about it. That is the ultimate boundary defender, okay? But there are other things that you could use, because as we see down on my third point there, you don't often need a gun, but when you do, it's really all that will do, you know? Super, super handy in that way. I can't think of anything that evens the score like that does. That said, there are a couple of really low bar, easy things you can incorporate into your daily routine. Pepper spray, OC, oleoresin capsicum, is one of the easiest things that you can bring into your routine. That will solve so much more than a gun. And there's a lot of mythology that goes around it, a lot of ideas that it's not effective on everyone, people with asthma can't use it, all of these things that are just not true. If you get a good quality brand that is really strong on quality control and puts out a good quality product, like Palm Industries is the one we recommend. We recommend them partially because we have a business relationship with them, but we chose to have a business relationship with them because they're that good. The president of the company is hugely passionate about helping people and making something accessible and marketable, and it's a very small, easy to carry product. It's easy to find everywhere. It's $13, and it will solve so many problems for you. You can find it on their website, Palm Industries. You can find it on Amazon. It's $13. I get them for gifts all the time. Super. Palm stands for peace of mind, so it's P-O-M, and then Industries. And that's a really good one. They're one of the few that has a really strict quality control. They're really good with their marketing. It's a quality product, okay?
And they help us fight sex trafficking?
They do. They do. Alex, the president of Palm and owner of Palm, is a wonderful human being that really felt like pepper spray. And one of the reasons I decided to work with him, and we as a team decided to work with him, was because he really does have a huge heart for effective self-defense. His family is like pepper spray family. Like, they are involved in every company of pepper spray through the materials that they make for all of them. So even if it's not his company, his family has had something to do with whatever dispensing agent, and knowing how effective it was and a good product could be, he really felt like there's this huge market niche that wasn't being hit because it was all marketed the wrong way. It wasn't accessible. It was all in these weird, not helpful containers, and he's trying to change that, and he's doing a really good job. So check that out. It is a very effective, very low-key item that you can help with. Yes, sir? So the pepper spray will remain effective indefinitely. So even once it's expired, and they will have an expiration, which is about 2 years, the expiration is actually for the rubber gaskets and things inside the container and the propellant and that sort of thing. So I say that the spray is just as effective. Sometimes you can donate those to law enforcement, or you can spray it and use it. It's all fine from that perspective. You just don't, for $13, I just replace mine yearly, or every time I give it to someone. I buy a new one. So then I just remember on Christmas, I buy myself and all the kids pepper spray. But it will, the gaskets and stuff, are the components are guaranteed for 2 years. The spray is good indefinitely. Okay, and I know that Palm also sells an inner unit, so that's just water, and you can spray that. Otherwise, it acts exactly the same. So you can practice, where am I carrying it, what am I doing, how can I, how far range does it have, and that sort of thing, okay? Efficiency and effectiveness matters. This is more specific to firearms, but what we see over and over again is the first person to get an effective shot on target generally prevails in the encounter. So if you are carrying a gun, to be carrying it in a way and a place that you can safely and effectively access it and are effective with it matters. And we saw multiple defensive encounters today. They were all very quick. They were all within seconds. And so to be able to access and use that gun in an effective manner in under 2 seconds is super important. And it's never been more doable than it is today. There is so much free training out there for you. There are so many great resources. If you're struggling to figure out, as a woman in particular, how to carry a gun with varying clothing or without wearing a belt, the Filster Enigma is probably the answer to what you're looking for. And I'll spell it because it's PHL. So it's like the airport code for Philadelphia. Filster, S-T-E-R. P-H-L-S-T-E-R, and you can go to their .com website, and the Enigma is a specific type of holster that doesn't attach to your clothing. It's a little bit like a belly band, but the challenge with the belly bands, I have not seen one that I can't pull the trigger through. And I won't wear a gun on my body that the trigger can be accessed by my grandchildren's fingers or toes, or by my clothing, or by my keys. That trigger has to be safely protected. So having a quality holster like that I can vary my clothing in whatever way I need to, is super helpful. It also solves a lot of problems for using the restroom with a gun, which women have a lot more challenge with if you're sitting down every time you go to the bathroom versus sometimes. That said, it's not a women's holster. I see them in classes more and more all the time. It's a good quality holster for anyone that wants to divorce the gun from your belt and from your clothing. So maybe you want to wear jogging pants, or maybe you want to lounge around the house in whatever way.